If you want a circumboob, circumboob. Circumboob at Christmas. Circumboob at the work party.
Bang, 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 bang. Bang on.
Buongiorno.
Hello, Zan. How are you?
I'm excited, Myf Warhurst.
I know. It's a special day today. It's where all of our hard work culminates into this one episode where we celebrate the year that was. And I cannot believe it. We're here already.
We're here already. It's the end of the year. It is the first bang on into December, our second last episode for 2023. And as always, we will be doing a year in review very, very soon, capturing all the many cooked and glorious things that happened in 2023. Some of this stuff your head will spin, I reckon. You won't believe that it happened in the last 12 months.
I know. When we put the list together, I'd already forgotten about half of it and had to look them up online. So that says immediately how quickly the year has gone. I had to actually look up again Gwyneth Paltrow's ozone therapy to remind myself of exactly what it was.
Rectal ozone therapy even.
That's it. That's it.
It's a little teaser of the excitement you
Just
can
a
expect.
Teaser. Yeah, and you went, oh my goodness, was that really 2023?
Before we get into that, we will be capturing the week that was, music, art, life and stuff. And also, speaking of very exciting things, Myf, we have a huge announcement for Bang Fam. Last Friday, we announced that we are going to be coming to the Adelaide Fringe Festival, 2 shows at the goddamn Spiegel tent.
Amazing.
In February. And that's not all. We might have teased that we are going to be visiting all corners of Australia. A lot of people already getting excited about that. This isn't going to be announced until Monday. Can we reveal to the Bang Fam where we're going to be going?
Why not? Because, I mean, really, it's Christmas. This is our gift to you.
Let's go rogue.
We do have pre-sales, so you want to get in on the pre-sales. You don't want to miss out and you want to get the best seats. Because there'll be all sorts of stuff happening. It'll be interactive. It'll be a celebration of Bang Fam together at last, because this is our first time we've ever hit the road.
Yeah, and this is the first Bang On Live since 2019, but we've never done anything like this before. This has been something we've been desperately wanting to do for years, and we are bringing Bang On Live to Adelaide, Newcastle, Perth. Perth for the first time.
We're going to Perth.
We're going to Perth. Hobart, Bendigo, Canberra, Melbourne, a very big show in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
Brisbane, might be a couple of shows there. Sydney, another amazing show in one of our favourite venues. Geelong, Wollongong, Cairns, Traralgon and Wyong.
What a list. That's dotting the country, I think you call that. All points, dotting all points. And places that a lot of people have been saying for ages, please come, especially places like Hobart have been singing out for it. And, yeah, I'm just so excited, Zan.
I'm so excited too. We're going to get a private jet. We're going to have teams of people taking care of us.
Private jet will be like a Rex flight where there'll be just the three, you and me and, a couple of other people. So
a bicky and a cup of tea.
Yeah, let's consider that as our private jet. It's fine.
All the details can be found very soon. We'll be announcing the full dates and details on Monday. So just keep an eye on the link in our bios on our socials. It's all there, big list of Bang On Live. It'll be up on the Double J website too. We are so, so excited about Bang On Live coming to all corners of Australia. We've been cooking up something good. And it's just going to be a massive Bang Fam reunion as well. I can't wait for one time.
Well, one time, and that's the thing, and the beautiful thing about these events is that Bang Fam get to meet other Bang Fam. So it's a bit of a social event as well, not just seeing us entertain you and give you lots of lols, but you get to meet other like-minded folk, and it's beautiful.
100%. It's going to be huge. That's happening next year. This year, though, very soon we'll do our year in review. First, though, last week we were talking about the Macquarie Dictionary and the Merriam-Webster Dictionary's Word of the Year, and we were wondering what the Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year would be, because that usually lands around this time. What is it, Myf? Last year it was Goblin Mode. What have they gone with in 2023?
This year they did not disappoint, Zan. They came up with something I'd also never heard before, which clearly means I'm out of touch, finger not on the pulse, all of those things. This word is Rizz, R-I-Z-Z. And I think we mentioned that last week, didn't we?
I think it was one of the
possibility.
It was one of the front runners for the Macquarie Dictionary Word of the Year as well, for the Australian version. So Rizz is very much the word of at least Australia and the UK, it seems.
Short for charisma.
Now, this is
It's a
something I didn't
shortening of it.
realise. Yeah, now it makes
Yeah.
sense, right? Because it's the middle bit that's shortened. If you
Yeah.
take away the cha and the ma, you've got the middle Rizz, and that's what it is.
That's true, and I think it came about because a movie star who's in one of those Marvel movies, you know, the ones who I don't even know who they are anymore because there's so many of them, actually said it in an interview. He said, talking about his brother or something, he's got the Rizz, I ain't got the Rizz, and that's how it came about. So there you go. It's that simple. Just shorten a word, and all of a sudden you're in the dictionary. I'm already working out things for next year, I think.
Oh, yeah? You're going to make up your
Yeah.
own word, lob it in with the 150 million words that they scour worldwide to figure out what's going to be the word of the year. Just going to throw your hat in the ring?
Yeah, I think, well, we've got the formula. Just use a shortened version of an already existing word. It's nothing new. Very disappointing with Rizz.
Have I ever told you about the time that years ago a friend of mine, Dan, wanted to enter a word into the vernacular, wanted to see if he could do it, and he wanted to make wizard, that's wizard instead of
I love
wicked. That's
that.
wizard. Obviously never took off, but people do try. And I was like, what does it say? Wizard means good. What does it mean if something's bad? And he's like, well, that's warlock. Still.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe he was playing lots of
Actually, I
Dungeons
like
and Dragons. I don't know.
yeah. I quite like that. I'm into it. Wizards and warlocks. And whiz is good and war is bad. I mean, you can shorten both of those words and that makes sense. So
Yeah, well, give it a go. Do you want to know what
Give it a
some of the
go.
other things that were up for the word of the year that didn't
Yes,
quite make the cut?
please.
Okay. Situationship, which is something that we've definitely heard, which is a romantic
Mm.
and sexual relationship that is not considered to be formal or established. Beige flag. I haven't heard this. A character trait that indicates that a partner or potential partner is boring or lacks originality. That's so brutal. So if you haven't got a red flag, you got a beige flag. A bit like
there's
meh.
red flags, beige flags and green flags. I think green flags means it's good, obviously. Go.
Oh, yeah,
but
good.
beige flag is just you fell asleep while you were thinking about them.
You've settled. Basically, you're actively settling. And you know what? That's fine as well. Parasocial, which is something we've talked about a lot, which is designating a relationship characterised by one-sided, unreciprocated sense of intimacy, felt by a viewer, fan, or follower for a well-known or prominent figure. A lot of parasocial relationships going on with various people on social media, big stars, Taylor Swift, we talk about a lot as well.
That's true. I was thinking about it, though, who I have parasocial relationships with online.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's mostly animals on Instagram.
That's the only content that you
That's the
reshare.
only one I want to know really what's going on in their lives. Everyone else, CBF. But if there's a pig that I'm following that has, I think his name's Merlin, that has these buttons that he presses when he wants things and he cracks the shits. That's the only parasocial relationship I need, really.
You've got your
I just want to know
faves.
how he is, yeah.
You want to know how Merlin the pig is?
Look him up, he's hilarious. He says he wants food and more food, and then the parent says no. So he takes himself off to his bedroom and shuts the door and cracks it.
Oh, my God.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
All right, I'm putting that in the show notes. Merlin
Yeah.
the pig. This is the sort of joy that Myf Warhurst brings to you every week. Swiftie also
Yeah.
made the shortlist too, which of course is an enthusiastic fan of the singer Taylor Swift. And there's plenty of those because did you hear that she has made the Time magazine Person of the Year?
The players gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off.
Pretty big deal, eh? Massive year for
Yeah.
Tay-Tay. And she's on the front cover. She's Time's Person of the Year, Time magazine's Person of the Year. Massive accomplishment.
Well, it's better than when Victoria awarded it to a horse, as we've spoken of before here on Bang On, the Herald Sun. Thank you very much for Woman of the Year. Taylor Swift got Person of the Year. A lot of people are saying, they're disappointed, saying it's distracting from what's going on in the world at the moment. And I do get that, but she is also very much in everybody's consciousness around the world at the moment with the tour and the new relationship. And you know what I loved that she did for the photo shoot for Time Cover of the Year? She took her cat,
I saw that.
popped it on her shoulders. And she
is all of us.
She actually just tweeted about it. She wrote, Time Magazine, we'd like to name you Person of the Year, YEA, no R on the end. Me, can I bring my cat? Sure, you can do anything, Taylor.
You'd want
Anything
Merv
you
to be
like.
part of your photo shoot if you were Woman of the Year, wouldn't you? I definitely
would
get Norman
Merv
involved.
And Steve.
Yeah,
Merv and Steve together, although they'd scratch me to pieces before they'd stand in front of a camera with a camera person. Norman would be good, though. He'd be calm.
Oh, I doubt that. He'd look like a deer in headlights, but he'd be the most beautiful boy in the world, and he'd take away all the attention from me, that's for sure. But I love that she celebrated her cat in one of those photos. I reckon it's kind of dismissive to say that a pop singer shouldn't get Time magazine's Person of the Year, because the reasons that they sort of outlined it was, well, the editor-in-chief said that she was the rare person who is both the writer and hero of her own story, true, and she found a way to transcend borders and be a source of light. And I think we can agree that this year has been very challenging for so many reasons for a lot of people, and she really needed to, we really needed to have, every moment of light that we could. Her Eras tour has been one of the biggest tours of all time. The concert film, obviously she's been re-recording all of her own music, which is a whole other kind of, empowered feminist act in itself when you think about the reasons why she did that.
Yeah.
And she's just been bringing a whole lot of light to a whole lot of people. So I'm like, go for it. And it's just a cover of a magazine. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, but also, don't think about it too much. Just enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Some other breaking news that came through this week.
All I want for Christmas is the halls with boughs of holly rocking around.
Mariah Carey has been knocked off the top of the tree. Brenda Lee, who I didn't realise recorded this when she was 13 years old.
No.
Fun fact, I didn't know that. Did you know that? Rocking
I had
around the
no
Christmas
idea.
tree. She was
I had
barely
no
a
idea.
teenager.
Like many in those days.
Well, seriously, 1964, I think it was when it was recorded. This has just taken the number one spot, the first Christmas hit in the Billboard Hot 100 chart this season. 58, she recorded it. I lie, even younger. And, of course, it's had many incarnations over the years. It popped up on Home Alone and what have you. But this year, Brenda Lee popped it on TikTok. She started a TikTok account. She made a new music video. And surprise,
I love
surprise,
it.
this has paid off. And she's now number one.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Speaking of TikTok, that's my favourite one, Cilla Black. It was an amazing thing, to think that she had the foresight to actually take this song that has, been around for pretty much forever, give it a new life and offer it up to the kids of TikTok. But it's also got that perfect sound as well. It's got that retro joy about it that sounds a little bit. It's not sort of that cheesy Hollywood Christmas sound. There's a little bit of an edge to it, which I like when you listen to it. And the new clip is great. She's looking fabulous. She's popped a great wig on, and it's worth a look. Lots of handsome and attractive young people in it. It's perfect.
Good wig work. I love that in a music video. Good wig work.
Good wig work. Good wig work. But also too, maybe it is a change. Maybe Mariah is on, people are looking for new things now. I feel both, I feel a bit torn and conflicted about that because I like having Mariah at Christmas. It just makes sense.
Well, you can
but
have, you
I'm
can
happy
have
to
both.
share.
Yeah.
Happy to share.
And you know what? She's fine. Mariah's fine. She's still going to
fine.
rake in the cash. I'm sure she'll be number one next week as well. I'm sure she'll come back around. She'll release a video. She'll get on the TikToks, as I now
Course she
call
will.
it, and everything will be fine. But good on
Thanks,
you,
Gran.
Brenda Lee.
Thanks, Gran and Brenda Lee, the TikToks.
It means we are heading towards the end of the year. The season is upon us. All the different holidays, a big summer break coming your way. It is time now to look back at the year that was for our year in review.
The Bang On Year in Review for the year 2023.
Yes, it's our annual look back at the year that was. 12 months. So much has happened. A lot of crazy stuff. And we're going to celebrate it all. Beginning with something that I didn't think I'd be saying at the start of 2023, Myf. It was the year of the bear.
Who knew? Who knew?
And shout outs to all our actual bears, our queer family. We're not talking about you. We do love you, but we're talking about actual bears.
And it was your year as well, of course.
It's every year's your year, obviously.
Always.
You know how to do life right.
Yeah, but it started out with Cocaine Bear, which I have to admit I still haven't seen, even though I've had plenty of opportunity to watch it on a plane.
Oh, well, should we remind people of what that sounded like really quickly? Because that was
Yeah.
one of my cinematic highlights.
Apex predator. High on cocaine. out of his mind. Oh man, you fucked.
That's something for you to catch up with over
So
summer,
good.
Myf.
Yeah, can't wait, can't wait. I don't know why I didn't watch it on the plane. I think I felt like I needed a bigger screen or something to enjoy it in all its glory.
Yeah, it's like June and Cocaine Bear. They're the things that you need
Yeah.
to see at the cinema.
It's correct.
And then we had Fat Bear Week, which was a vibe too, wasn't it?
Oh, totally.
The discovery of Fat Bear Week.
Fat Bear Week, where there was a competition in America, or was it Canada? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Where people got to vote for their favourite bear that was doing the process of fattening themselves up. And we had a winner in the end. And it was a very feminist winner, wasn't it, Zan?
She was having her hot girl summer, just looking out for herself. She didn't have any young to care for, didn't have a man, a mate to look in on. She just basically wanted to make herself nice and plump, build that beautiful hibernation coat around her, and have a hot girl summer.
She worked hard for the money. Grazer, 128 Grazer was her name. And
128 Grazer.
And she did exactly what the name suggests, what it says on the box. She grazed and grazed and grazed, and she won the competition. And I bet she's having an absolutely beautiful sleep.
It's beautiful. Gwyneth Paltrow had a big, unrelated to bears, big year as well.
Oh, can I just add before we move on to bears?
Yeah.
Also, that the video that went viral socially too, the little kid that goes to touch the bear. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog?
Of course, as
One of
someone
the
who only
best-
watches animal videos on social media.
One of the best videos on all socials, I can guarantee you.
Gwyneth Paltrow also had a very big year. What did she get up to in 2023?
Oh, you know, the usual Gwyneth stuff, selling us really expensive stuff on Goop that we can't afford. And speaking of the Christmas list, have we missed it this year?
Oh my God, has it even come out?
I haven't seen it.
Maybe it'll be coming out in the next week or so. It hasn't come up in my feed. Maybe people are sick of the Christmas list in this Cosy Lives crisis. That was the
Maybe.
Macquarie word of the year, if
Yeah,
anyone
well
missed
done,
it last
well
week.
done.
See, just trying to make it,
Just drop it in there,
Just
make it work.
Yeah, very relevant.
Love it, love it.
We'll check that. We didn't check that before today, but maybe it'll come
No.
through next week because we do love a bit of a Goop Christmas list. But
Well,
maybe
she
she's
had
been
a bit more.
busy,
She had a bit
yeah.
less time, yeah, because she was busy with the ski trial, where that was quite entertaining at the start of the year and very innocent as well in terms of the news cycle. It was quite enjoyable to check in with her quiet luxury dressing, which happened every day. Very conscious creams and woolen jumpers and just quiet luxury, which we found was a term for how very rich people dress, which is they don't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks. They'll just wear the most expensive clothes. They don't have to look great. They're not trying hard. But anyway, she was busy with that trial where the skier skied into her and she eventually won that trial. But then also she was busy doing something called rectal ozone therapy, which is, as far as we could gather from all of our research, of which we did a lot, was essentially putting very expensive air up there so you could do some very expensive farts. That's it.
It's a colonic of air instead of water.
It's like, go and buy something normal, Gwyneth.
Just stop putting things in places. Like, just you let the body take care of it. Your body will detox. You don't need to
Yes.
push things up there and blow it out of there.
No.
Someone who was keeping it real and then some this year, and it really was her year, was Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, we were all her when she said this on the red carpet.
You too. Do a matinee. Coldplay. Do a matinee. What about a 12 noon concert, Coldplay? What about it? Bruce Springsteen. Do a fucking matinee. You're old. Why wouldn't you let me come see you, Bruce Springsteen, in your glory days? Pun intended. Do it at noon or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock matinee, theater in New York, 2 o'clock. I will come and hear your 5-hour concert, Bruce, at 2 o'clock, and I'm going to be home and in bed by 7:30.
Everybody loved this. We all want to go to the matinee or an afternoon show or even one that starts at 5, in bed by 9 or 10.
Absolutely. And at that time, when she said this, I was doing Rocky Horror Show and I started to gain a whole new appreciation for the matinee audience. And I realised Jamie Lee Curtis is me. This is exactly how I feel. And that comment was not just I guess a new idea that people should do these things if they're in musical acts or whatever, or putting on concerts. But it was also a bit of a burn. Like Bruce Springsteen, I'll come to your 5-hour concert if you do it at 2.
Give us
You're
a chance.
old. You're old. It's brutal, but wonderful.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest videos that we posted because in case you missed it, we like to post little videos put together by one of our wonderful Bang Babes, Claudine, who films us every week. Thank you, Claudine, you bloody legend. And yeah, that was one of the biggest received videos because clearly it's something that the people want. I haven't seen any big changes so far, but hopefully in 2024, people will start bringing those gigs a little bit earlier in the afternoon or evening. And of course, Jamie Lee finally won an Oscar for a lifetime of incredible performances and everything everywhere all at once, cleaning up at this year's Oscars all those months ago. And it was just so wonderful to see her, be celebrated in such a big way. She's just such a great advocate too. If you don't follow her on social media yet, she posts really funny videos, but she also uses her platform to advocate for so many great causes, raises the profile of trans people in particular. Her child is trans, and so there's something that she's sort of, again, going out to bat for those who are increasingly some of the most vilified community in the world, and Jamie Lee just standing up there and standing up for the people that she loves and those huge communities is something to behold. So we bloody love Jamie Lee.
Yep.
Look, it was a great year to pop down the shops as well. You never know who you were going to bump into this year, did you, Myf?
Well, this is always a highlight. Celebrities, they're just like us when they turn up in places where you never expect them to turn up. In Australia, always gives us great joy, especially when they're looking terribly out of place, i.e. Rod Stewart dressed in all white at Bunnings, captured checking out the sausage sizzle at Bunnings. That was a huge highlight for me this year. And also then followed up with Nicolas Cage turning up at an Asian grocer in Busselton. So it's good to know they're
looking
out
really
there.
happy to have his photo taken as well.
Totally. They're out there, they're shopping, they're just like us, as we know. Yeah, it's always great. So whenever you see somebody out in the wild who might be famous, just let us know.
And ask for
We
a
love this
selfie.
stuff.
Absolutely ask for a selfie.
That's right. Everyone lost their minds when Rod Stewart went to Bunnings, didn't they? Apparently he needed a bit of timber for his... he was working on some
model
trains
model
because he does model
railways.
trains.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Those prices are just the beginning for Rod.
Just begs the question. It's like you're on tour and, yeah, you're going to be here for a while. You're doing a bunch of tours and the older you get, the more space you have between the shows. So he's probably here for a few weeks. But still, it's like just so passionately into model railway that he simply has to build something while he's on the other side of the world. He simply must continue to construct. And where will he get his plywood from? The local Bunnings.
That's right.
Dressed in all white. A very big year as well for prestige television. We got the Succession finale. I sort of feel as though, I know we talk about this a lot, and I think we might have talked about it on Bang On. Are we at the end of this amazing era of prestige television, Myf? Do you reckon that we're kind of saying farewell to some of the shows that have been capturing people's hearts? And particularly when you think about like The Crown and how cooked that's gotten over the 6th season, now it's become kind of a soap opera. Is it a weird time for prestige TV?
I think so. I think there's so much more now because of all of the streamers. There's too much to choose from. People have actually kind of backed off deciding to choose almost. I know at least I have. They just get overwhelmed by it, which means, I don't know, it doesn't feel as pressing to watch things as it once did. I'm actually going to bang on about something that is considered prestige television, but it's taken me, and this is probably an indication of what you just said, it's taken me probably 2 years before I've watched it.
Right.
And if that was the case 2 years ago, I don't know, I just kept putting it off all before 2 years ago or a year ago. I would have just gone in straight. If people were talking about it, I'd just watch it. And now I just don't. It takes me ages to work up to it, and I'm not sure what's going on. What about you?
Well, yeah, I wonder actually from a purely kind of pragmatic point of view what the effects of the writers and actors strikes are going to have on how things roll out over the next 2 years because... as you and I know, television takes a long time to make. And particularly if you're working in these realms where it's really, high-end television and there's a lot of people involved, a lot of cooks, They've just been on pause for so long. I wonder what that's going to mean for TV over the next coming years. Things like Severance, though, I'm excited about seeing the second season of that. That was one of those Apple TV shows that went really well and as you probably forgot about because it was starting to film and then, of course, the strikes shut it all down. But yeah, whether or not these things roll on, whether that dilution as well of content is going to make us just kind of give up. And also the short attention span that we have, something that we talk about a lot on Bang On. Some people say to me that they see the little clips of us on social media, 90 seconds of our podcast, and they're like, oh, that was so funny you talked about that. And I'm like, oh, did you listen? It's like, no, I just watched. I'm like, oh, there's a podcast. Like, no, this is enough. And I'm like, I can't argue with that. Like, that's enough for you, you know?
That is us. That is us.
Yeah. And
that is how we feel. It's been overwhelming, I think, with the amount of content that's out there now.
So thank you if you do listen, if you give us a good 40 minutes of your time every week. We love you. We appreciate you. Not everyone does that. Neighbours, of course, had its finale and then it came back.
I know, an emotional roller coaster for all of us. We cried, we laughed, we reminisced. We watched Neighbours for the first time in 25 years just at the finale and showed that we are fair weather friends. We really are fair weather friends. But we were there and watched that final episode thinking it was all over and then they came back.
Yeah. Has anyone checked on Guy Pearce? Because he really gave his all in that finale. It was like a 3-episode long finale and he really came home and gave his all and then it was like, wait, what? It's not cancelled.
Yeah. Gosh. You'd be a little annoyed, although no one ever said that they were, so that's good. And it's back on air. I haven't watched it, I have to admit. I still need to catch up on that. But,
You're not going to catch up.
I'm not. I'm just not.
Yeah. All the best.
Are you?
No, I was watching that finale with my hand on my phone, just Googling storylines to patch together the last 20 years that has passed since I last watched Neighbours, which I was obsessed with in the 90s, but really have not engaged with since probably, 1999. So I don't think I'm going to, in this sea of content, go back into Neighbours. But if you're a fan, and I know there are many people who
There's lots of people.
then, it's great to have Erin's back on our screens.
That's right.
I loved the first season of Alone in Australia as well. It's been renewed. We now know it's going to come back to SBS in 2024. But that was just a remarkable concept show that's been airing in North America for years and coming to Australia. And they just nailed it. And, of course, at its helm, the winner, Gina, who was just phenomenal, who's been one of the bright lights, I think, in 2023, thinking about what matters and thinking about our connection to place and to earth and to how to sort of heal yourself through those connections too. So that was really amazing, I think.
What a woman. She actually just recently did an Imperfects podcast, if you want to listen to that. They recorded outside in Tasmania, which is obviously, no problem for her. But the fellas who host the podcast were struggling in the cold.
It was windy too. I saw some of the videos. Very windy.
Yeah. Really windy, but she has such beautiful things to say and she's so smart. And if you get a chance, watch the Australian Story with her as well.
Yeah.
It's really full on and probably might be a bit triggering for some people who may have experienced what she's experienced, which is the loss of a child. But it's, goodness me, she is a phenomenal woman, absolutely phenomenal woman. And, I think inspiration is thrown around a little lightly these days, but she genuinely is in terms of the way she dealt with her own grief and how she's using her profile now to speak about these things, and I just think she's magnificent.
Yeah, she really is. Also magnificent, the Beckhams.
Oh, yes.
A year of, again, amazing kind of character documentaries on Netflix. We watched the Arnold doco. There's a Sly film, Sylvester Stallone up there. Of course, we had the Supermodels on Apple TV, and Beckham, which was, as we realised, of course, produced by the Beckhams, was really one of the best doco series and branding exercises in recent times, and we bloody loved it.
Oh, lapped it up. It was too long, but lapped it up. There were some fabulous moments where Posh was talking about driving to school and Bex chimes in from the kitchen. What sort of car did your dad drive you to school? And she's like, well, was it a Bentley, I think, or something like that. Well, it was a Bentley, but, we were middle class. It's like, no, you weren't, mate. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
I just like seeing inside their houses and the tent, the barbecue tent that he had out in the backyard as well, with the full kitchen, full man cave tent. Just extreme wealth on screen.
Yeah. They're living their best lives.
They really are. Barbie had a massive year too, and not just as a cultural phenomenon of a film, but Barbie fashion, breaking records with Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie making a name for themselves as female directors and producers, breaking, huge records in the box office. And that whole Barbenheimer thing that happened as well. No one's talking about Oppenheimer anymore, are they? Everyone's still talking about Barbie. It was an amazing year for feminist filmmaking on a grand scale.
It'll be really interesting, Oscars time, what happens.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to that. It makes it exciting. Will they credit a movie that obviously had such huge commercial success and connected with so many people, but given its subject matter is Barbie, will that actually make it to winning all the awards that it so richly deserves?
And also kind of goes into the realm of comedy too, which is something that the Oscars rarely recognise. As soon as there's a few laughs, it's like, no, it can't be a best film, but I'm sure we'll find out about those pretty soon. One of the biggest things that happened this year, and for someone very close to our hearts,
I hear it and I know, I know you wanna take me home.
Kylie. She bloody took 2023 by storm, didn't she?
She
What a
did.
year for Kylie Minogue.
It's as if she can't stop being excellent, like...
Just try, mate. No, can't.
Like she's thrown a few things at the wall lately that haven't quite stuck, but we always know that she'll come back. She's so reliable in that sense. It's not like everything works for Kylie, but every couple of years it's like, bang, here you go. Here it is. She's going to be at the centre of culture, and that song Padam Padam became something huge all over the world again, putting her in the spotlight. And she is how old now? 54?
Yeah,
50
50 odd.
Just
Just
it's amazing.
incredible, yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So what, like 4 decades now, close to 4 decades in pop music, which again, we talk about a lot. Women in pop music, very disposed of, and the fact that she's been able to maintain that relevance, have one of her biggest years on record, certainly the biggest peak in her career for 20 years,
Yep.
and just spread all over the world with that great video, with the viral nature of Padam Padam, what does it mean, whatever you want it to, and now doing a bloody residency in Las Vegas. And still, the side hustles with her Kylie Wan and what have you.
yeah.
Like, she's
I
always
still
got her
haven't had a
hands-
drink of that. Is it all right?
Look, I mean, it's fine. I definitely had a hangover, but maybe it was because I just drank too much of it one night. It's a nice bottle. She's doing the non-alcoholic wine now as well, which is good. So you can just enjoy a bit of Kylie and not have the hangover.
That's right.
Maybe I am the problem here. I shouldn't have drunk a whole bottle of Kylie wine. But yes, it's she's always got lots of plates spinning, and I love that for her. Britney as well had a massive year, and obviously we've been talking about her over the last few years with the Breaking Free, but the memoir where she finally was able to tell her story, which I did read over
Yes.
a night and a morning so I could bang on about it.
You were quite delirious when you did. Go back to that episode if you missed it. It was amazing.
The Woman in Me, which, have you read it yet, Myf?
No, I haven't. I
Little
was saving
summer
it for
read.
my Christmas read.
Yeah, it's really good. Like if you didn't hear that episode, honestly, a great story, and about 5 hours on an audiobook, so not a long read. That's how I experienced it with Michelle Williams narrating it. But it just, it's just, again, incredible to kind of capture that experience of a woman in pop music who had been exploited by so many people, mainly men, in her life for so long, and finally getting her voice and being able to tell it how it was from her perspective too.
Yeah, brilliant.
Just really, really good. Taylor Swift broke every record, as we know, and let's not forget that Kings of Leon were living their best Taylor Swift dreams when they took over a whole set of Dunnies backstage at a festival in the UK, and Groove Armada went at them.
Oh, that was a highlight. That's a very good article.
Just looking very chuffed there. Just
I'd forgotten
remembering.
about that. That's so good.
Oh, we can't, if we're talking about music, can't ignore one of the biggest artists of the year as well, and indeed one of the biggest tours.
Don't know what you're waiting for. Cuff it.
Today ain't the day.
Cause I'm in the mood to be deep in love.
Beyonce, the
You
Renaissance. I was very lucky to see it back in May. Just incredible. And now everyone can see it because the film just opened a week ago. I think it's broken records.
Broke
as
all
one
the
of the
box office records.
Yeah, biggest Thanksgiving film ever. Everyone's turning up. Have you seen all the videos as well of everyone doing the mute bit where everyone's got to be quiet in the concert and the whole cinemas
Yeah.
are being mute and then exploding?
So good. So good.
So good. She released a perfume as well. And
Oh, I missed that.
So we talked about it,
I'd
remember?
forgotten that. We did talk about that, but then I think I got taken over because Dolly released a fragrance.
She did.
And that's all I can remember this year. So when it
Sent from
comes to-
above.
Well, you don't want it sent from below, do you? You want it from above for sure.
Oh, do you reckon she knew when she was naming it that?
Of course
Do you
she
reckon
did.
that's a little bit of an elbow?
You're right. You're so
speaking-
right.
Speaking directly to you. Lots of what the fuck moments this year as well. Let's go through them. The Idol, that sex scene. I still haven't watched anything more than that 10 minutes of The Idol.
Not going to either.
People throwing stuff at musicians on stage. Remember that?
Oh, mum's ashes to pink. That's like totally unacceptable. Hopefully that stops soon. People stop being the main character in your own story and allow other people to do their work on stage, which you've paid to see them to do, and stop putting yourself in it. It's just got to stop.
Yes, Myf. People stop being the main character in your story. 2024 vibes. Girl dinner was a thing. We just call it can't be fucked, don't we?
Yeah,
CBF dinner.
Easy dinner, whatever. It's like girl math was another thing, justifying the price of something by doing various amounts of ridiculous math that make it make sense and make it worth it. So there was a lot of girl dinner, girl math. Were there any other girl things this year?
Just lots of girl everything over the last few years. I'm so
Yeah.
sick of it. It's just kind of like it's belittling, I think, and it frames things in a way that I don't think benefits us. While men get their friggin' Roman Empire bullshit. What was
I
all that
know.
about?
Yeah, what do you do? How often do you think about the Roman Empire? I actually think about the Roman Empire quite a lot. We didn't talk about this at the time.
No, we
did
didn't. No, I think I might have been
actually-
away. So we kind of one of those moments is huge in pop culture for about 10 days, and then it was gone.
Yeah, look, I've got to be honest though, I'm more on the Pompeii tip than the Roman Empire. I mean, it was part of the Roman Empire, but my mind goes to Pompeii at least once a week. Surely. Do you have a moment in history?
No.
You don't?
No.
Not the Renaissance?
Oh, yeah, I'm a bit of a Renaissance girl. I'd say that.
Yeah.
Probably the Medici era of the of Florence. You know, they
you
invented
go.
maths. It's a big
They
deal.
did.
Yeah.
They did.
Speaking of great moments in history, Tube Girl. We never talked about that, but what the fuck was going on there? Tube Girl.
Hang on, what was that? What was Tube Girl?
was
I
the
missed
girl
it.
who
Oh, is
had,
that
like,
the lady
the-
that was on the tube that did stuff?
The selfies with the, on point 7 or whatever, and she just kind of treat every tube like it was a catwalk, much I'm sure
how
to
annoying.
the amusement.
How annoying. Go away. I don't want you on my train. Just seriously, I'm on the train. Leave me alone. Let me sit and read my phone and not look at anybody. I just had a thought about something else that came up and it's completely gone.
Myf forgetting about things was another iconic moment of 2023.
Yeah, I can't. No, it's totally gone. It was in relation to Tube Girl, but I can't remember now.
You explained to me that some people wear deodorant on their face to stop themselves sweating. That's something that I didn't know about until this year.
Deodorant on your face, apparently, on the top lip, if you have a tendency to sweat on your top lip. And apparently, too, deodorant under the boobs is another thing, which I was not aware of and apparently works. I still haven't tried it because I'm flat out getting my sports bra on, sweating of a morning, so let alone putting deodorant on under there. It's a little difficult, but yeah, genius. Give them a Nobel Prize.
Oh, my God. It was a sad year as well. Got to pay tribute to a couple of legends, including...
You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do with it?
Tina Turner passed away. She'd been unwell for some time. It's still very sad when we got the news that this icon had left us. Just what a huge legacy she left for so many reasons as well. Such an empowering figure in music and for women around the world, right?
Yeah, and look, if you get the chance to watch the documentary that's out on her and her life, it is absolutely magnificent. A lot of the stuff I didn't know about her, but the fact that she clawed her way to the top in her 40s with absolutely no support from anybody. Everybody said a woman can't be a pop star in her 40s, and she basically just blew that theory out of the water.
Yeah.
And she was incredible, and given she had to say goodbye to everything she'd earned prior to that in order to get out of an abusive relationship, she really was extraordinary and sorely missed. And what great hits, what incredible hits, and what legs and what power.
Yeah,
All of
incredible.
it.
All of it. Sinead O'Connor also sadly died way before her time. This was really devastating when we heard this news as well, that she'd passed. And again, someone who used their platform much against what was the trend at the time, in the face of a lot of anger, of people trying to shut her down, of a lot of cruelty. And she stood up always for what she believed in and for things that would ring true many years or decades later. She was the one who was standing out on her very own and giving power to those who were feeling very powerless. And so it was really devastating at the loss of Sinead O'Connor that
Absolutely.
that she left us this year.
Yeah.
It was also a very big year for fashion. I got to say, Myf, this is always your realm. You've brought me so much joy this week. What were some of your favourite moments of fashion
Well,
in
fashion
2023?
brings us all joy, I think. Fashion is very serious, and we take it very seriously, but it's also fucking ridiculous, and this is why we love it. I think my number one this year was the microscopic handbag. Do you remember that one that was not even the size of a pinprick?
It was a Louis
extraordinary.
Vuitton, wasn't it?
It was a Louis Vuitton, and it was so tiny that if you popped it on your finger, you couldn't even really. It just looked like a bit of stuff from your teeth, essentially, like a herb from a focaccia that you'd had at lunch stuck in there.
Bit of dried oregano. No, it's my Louis Vuitton.
It's my Louis Vuitton that I paid, gazillion dollars for. And look, great advertisement for the I guess you call them sort of a guerrilla art movement that came up with this idea, and also great promotion for Louis Vuitton because we're talking about it. As you say, Zan, the system works. But yeah, it just meant that you could either have the handbag or you could have a bit of oregano. Either way, you were in fashion, and that was great.
Weren't they behind the Big Red Boot as well? Was that the same art guerrilla collective?
They were.
Yeah.
The Big Red Boot that was basically just a ridiculous gumboot that made you look like, what's that character? I've forgotten already.
Mickey Mouse?
One of those, yeah. One of those. It's a ridiculous
cartoonish.
boot. Cartoonish. It looks quite comfy, actually. And, yeah, I'm into it. And that was followed by the yellow croc boot that also looks really comfy, and I still haven't tried. But I did buy a pair of slippers when I was in Korea, Zan, and I forgot to tell you, but they actually look like the top of it looks like they've got wool on the inside, and they're like a clog, but they look sort of rounded like the Big Red Boot.
Oh, my God.
I'll send you a photo.
Please do.
I'll pop it up.
That
for
sounds
you.
iconic.
Yeah, they're really good. I nearly bought you a pair, but I didn't know your size. I know I bought you Crocs a couple of years ago for Christmas, but I didn't know your size.
Which I still use them in my gardening Crocs.
Yeah, they're the best. I told you.
And a great flotation device if you ever want to go swimming in a river, as we have in our Bang On Crocs.
Yep.
Stealth wealth, which we kind of referred to earlier with Gwyneth Paltrow and her quiet luxury. That was a huge part of this year as well, that kind of those beige colours where you can't really tell what the designer is, but if you have to ask, then you're not wealthy enough because
That's
all
right.
those in the know exactly what that, $2,000 cashmere sweater is all about. And the circumboob, I'd forgotten about this, but the circumboob, which
How
is
can you
like,
forget? I'm wearing it now.
how would you, for anybody who missed us talking about the circumboob, and it was an iconic episode, how would you describe what the circumboob look is?
Oh, the look is basically if there's anywhere on it's called circumboob because it covers the circumference of the boob. You wear a bikini top, perhaps, and not only do you show your cleavage and your side boob, but you also get the underboob as well. So it's all the boobs. And
A
look,
boob
I'm-
orbit that you can take in one glance.
Absolutely. It's just, I mean, really, we're one step away from wearing absolutely nothing at all, which I totally endorse if that's what you want to do. But I think what bothered me about the circumboob was it was only the domain of those who could carry it off,
Yes.
really. So I started a campaign a couple of months ago when this came through to circumboob for all. And if you, feel free. Don't let fashion be only the domain of those who are, built a certain way to wear it. If you want a circumboob. Circumboob at Christmas. Circumboob at the work party. Enjoy it.
A whole bunch of
Enjoy
family
it.
Christmases are just going to get a lot more spicy. Office Christmas party, circumboob.
Circumboob.
What are you wearing? Circumboob. Myf told me
Circumboob.
I could.
Yeah, fancy dress, circumverb.
Bloody go for it. Another
Yeah.
great fashion moment, which has a beautiful crossover to a word that was talked about a lot this year, AI, the Pope puffer. I think this is one of the first ever massive AI viral moments in that people honestly didn't realise it was artificial intelligence generated. But we all thought, and I think we fell for it too, that the Pope was wearing an amazing white puffer jacket earlier this year. Incredible and scary.
It wouldn't put it past the Pope to be rugged up like that because there's some ill health there, but it really catapulted the puffer to a new level of fashion. Really, I mean, it's always been there, but once the Pope's wearing it, that's an endorsement. But we found out it wasn't actually even endorsed at all. But I still think it's a dream that we can have, and it will happen. Goes great with those red shoes.
It's a dream that we will have and it can happen is the sentence relating to AI most perfectly, and we'll see where 2024 leads us. Of course, our people of the year, if we're talking about the Time Person of the Year, you can't go past. No, not Nikki. We're talking about the Matildas. This was their
That's
hype-up
right.
song, and what a year it was. Sold-out arenas, stadiums. They captured the nation's heart. They elevated women's sport. They made us all
11 million
scream.
people in Australia watched that final that they were involved in. It was incredible. It blew everyone's expectations out of the water, but it also blew a lot of preconceptions about who watches women's sport, the number of people who want to be involved in women's sport, and the value and the importance of women's sport. It was amazing.
Thank you, Tillies. Thank you for uniting us as a nation, giving us so much joy to watch. A whole lot of people who are now football/soccer fans. And, yeah, bringing women's sport absolutely up to the platform that it deserves. An amazing year, and we are so grateful. Myf Warhurst, before we get into our bang on, our bang babe Liza, who's been working with us over the last few months and is a bloody legend, has sent me something titled Bang On Blooper Reel, and she said, don't listen to it first.
Oh, God, no. This is going to be incriminating. We're never going to work at the ABC again after this, are we? I'm scared, Zan.
Should I press play?
Press play.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, talked over.
You know what? I don't mind it when you talk over. I should have just left that. All right. From the top.
Make it stop.
Oh,
That's a wet.
Oh, you are a tyrant.
Like, whose ass is that important that you need to spend that much money on a couch?
Who will be the first to eat the nani? And will there be a security guard position to stop it? Or do they want people to eat the nani?
Yeah. Oh,
Bit waxy in there?
no. What clean down? I'm in a hotel. I used a cotton bud. People think I sound like Patty and Selma from The Simpsons.
Avavav.
Oh, my love.
It's not as sexy as you
My
think.
darling. I know where your mind went. I know. Dirty bitch.
Crass, absolute dirty bitch. How much poo have they got to do?
Exactly. I mean, maybe their bums were on fire or they, I don't know.
Is it dugong or dugong? Dugong. I'm really contradicting myself today, aren't I?
Yeah.
I want to see this, implemented in the block. I don't want to see any more
Oh
mud
my
rooms. I
God.
want to see a fuck hut.
Bringing the high quality arts and culture criticism
That's what I'm here for.
to the Bang On audience, Zanro.
That's what I'm here for.
Cocaine Bear, get your face in it. 5 stars.
I've never seen so many snouts covered in white dust. Very, very good. Oh my God.
Oh my God, she's
Liza.
a genius, Liza. That is beautiful.
Why wasn't fuck hut your word of the year, Myf? Forgot about the fuck hut.
Forgot about fuck hut. Oh my God.
Thank you, Liza. Oh, so
Thank you,
silly.
Liza.
And what a jovial little soundtrack she made to our absolute frivolity every week. Just stupidity. Bang on. What an amazing year it's been. We have one more episode next week, though, Myf. We're going to be banging back with our beloved Bang Fam, something that we do every year.
That's right.
This has got to be like our favourite episode of the year, right? Because it's kind of like a big list of awesome things that you can experience over the summer break. And our Bang Fam just telling the greatest and wildest stories of how they discovered things as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's where we get to connect with you. And I know that we read your emails, or Zan does, and she passes them on to me. But that's a really lovely way to connect. But we actually get to talk to you. So we love it.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing episode. We'll be getting into our Bang Back next week. We're going to be hanging out with the Bang fam through 2024, massive run of dates. All the details are going to be announced this coming Monday. Check the link in our bio for all those cities that we're going to be heading to, all corners of Australia. We're so excited. And, yeah, we're going to be bringing that love, that stupidity to stages all over the country. What are you banging on about this week, Myf?
I was going to talk about a prestige television series that I didn't watch for a couple of years because it just fell off the list and I've kind of lost the vibe on watching these sort of shows. But I finally am listening to the people who tell me how great it is. Slow Horses is what it's called.
Yes.
And it's amazing. Gary Oldman is the front of it, and he plays this character who is just, well, Jackson Lamb, who's like really kind of rough and crude fella who's an MI5 agent in London who runs a place where all these disgraced MI5 agents have to work once they've messed up in the work field. So they're deemed considered useless losers in the field and untrustworthy. And essentially what that means is they kind of can then go under the radar because everyone doesn't expect them to actually be able to do their jobs. And it's fantastic if you like those sort of crime procedural things that have fabulous acting and a fabulous cast, and it's English, so that it's always of a super high quality. It's brilliant. I'm loving it. And there's 3 seasons of it, and I'm in season 2. And it's worth it if you can get the chance. I think it's on Apple TV.
Yeah.
If you've got that. So that's how you can watch it.
I love that you banged on about this because I literally was watching it pop up again. And it's one of those shows that I'm the same. I'm like, I've never gotten around to that. So I'm going to watch it over summer too. So I'm glad that you're loving it because I'm really keen. And yeah, the new season has reminded me that I've never watched it. And I love Gary Oldman. He's so good.
I know. He's so good. So good.
So good.
What are you banging on about?
I'm banging on about a book that I listen to. I often have 2 on the go, reading one, listening to another. And this is by Eleanor Catton, who wrote The Luminaries, which was an acclaimed, very big book from a few years ago.
Yep.
And her latest book, which came out this year, is called Burnham Wood. And it is an absolute ripper. Like, I haven't read The Luminaries, but this book, and I want to now because she's such a great writer. But basically the story is, without giving too much away, it involves a guerrilla gardening group, an American billionaire building a bunker in New Zealand, a kind of hack, very ideological amateur journalist who's trying to find the truth of things, a guy who heads up a pest control company that's just been knighted, so he's a lord. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
What a list of people.
It's wild, and it's a thriller. And every chapter is told from a different character's perspective, and some of them overlap. And at the end of every chapter, there is a real cliffhanger, and then it goes to someone else's perspective, and you're like, "Oh my God, what's happened?" And you got to wait until it comes back, or they share the perspective, or it goes back after the next chapter to where you were, and it's just brilliant. Like, I just couldn't stop listening to it. If you read it, you won't be able to stop reading it. I just actually posted a review of it on my Instagram, which I do with all the books I read. If you want to check it out, highly recommend. Burnham Wood, Eleanor Catton, loved it. It's so good.
Can't wait.
Very good summer read if you're
holiday
up for
read.
It. Very great holiday read. Wow, that was a very big episode, but it's been a very big year.
It's the end of the year. We had to cover all of the incredible stops that we've made along the year.
Music, art, life stuff, bears, whatever takes your fancy. And we'll be banging back with you, our beautiful Bang fam, next week. Cannot wait for that. I'll see you then, Myf.
Yep. See you then.
Bye, babes.
Bang. 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 Bang on.